breaking news, a Russian missile attack on a government building in the city of Kharkiv. This is the second largest city in Ukraine. We are now getting word that at least 10 people have been killed, 35 injured in this attack. This is in Freedom Square. This is the middle of this bustling city. You can see the destruction that the Russians have wrought there. And this comes as the Russians make ever more gains in the country as a whole, now controlling all the areas in red. And there is new breaking news this morning. Word that what we saw in Kharkiv might be something we see again in other places as well. CNN Chief National Security Correspondent Jim Sciutto, who is on the ground in Lviv with this reporting. Jim, what have you learned?
John, in the latest U.S. intelligence assessments, this is frankly a sobering warning for the 40 million people of Ukraine. And that is the U.S. assessment that as Russia has suffered setbacks and delays to its original blitzkrieg, rapid-fire invasion, that they will use, those Russian forces will use more devastating, more powerful weapons. That's a concerning point, given the weapons that we've seen rolling into this country, things ranging from the thermobaric system, which is basically a turbocharged long-distance flamethrower, the only way I could describe it, to the suspected presence of cluster munitions, as well as other weapon systems designed, frankly, to kill people, right? To kill people, lots of people, and very quickly. It is also the U.S. assessment that President Putin and the commanders under him will become less hesitant to, and maybe really the better phrasing is more willing to commit collateral damage. What does that mean? That means kill civilians. And that means, therefore, more direct targeting of non-military targets, frankly, civilian targets, inside urban centers. And that's why that video that you just played there, John, is indicative of that. To see an administrative building, not a military target, an administrative building in the middle of Kharkiv, a city of more than 1 million people, struck with a high-power weapon that has now, we know, killed 10 people, a sign of what Russia is willing to do. It's concerning, right? Because they have a tremendous amount of firepower around, particularly these urban centers. And the U.S. view is we'll see more of this, frankly, in the coming days.
Yeah, not a bug. This may be a feature, that horrifying video we just saw there might be a feature of the Russian attack in the coming hours and days. And Jim, what does this mean as we see this 40-mile-long convoy of material military vehicles moving ever closer to Kyiv? You can see the convoy here. Only about a 40-mile gap, not 40, about 20-mile gap separates the end of the convoy from the city center in Kyiv. Could what happened in Kharkiv happen in Kyiv?
Absolutely. In fact, that's the U.S. understanding of the Russian plan. It has been the U.S. assessment of the Russian plan for some time. We've been reporting it for weeks, that the plan would be, as you assault in the east, you also come down from the north and surround the city of Kyiv to do a decapitation operation. And to surround a city of millions of people, you need a lot of forces and firepower. And what's truly remarkable about this, John, is we're seeing it play out before our eyes. You don't need to be an intelligence analyst to see it, right? You can call up on the internet to publicly available satellite images and see that 17 to 40 mile long convoy. I know there have been different estimates of it, wheeling its way down towards the capital in slow motion here. Another piece, John, that's being talked about a lot is what is Putin's state of mind and so on. But one thing that's clear and consistent is that Putin is willing to use these weapon systems, and that does not require guesswork because he's done it before. The playbook, if you go back to Chechnya, for instance, 20 years ago, was to level the city of Grozny, with weapons like the ones we're seeing roll across the border here. No concern for civilian life, no hesitation, and that's the concern, that we haven't seen the worst of it yet, and more importantly, that the people of Ukraine haven't seen the worst of it yet.
Look, targeting civilians, whether it's a rational choice or irrational choice, it's an evil choice. The outcome is the same either way. Jim Sciutto in Lviv, thank you very much for this reporting. We'll check in back with you in a little bit.